in 2023. It is the 37th World Championship Australian Grand Prix, and we're here, down under, in Melbourne. Then lines up for our race this year, and Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas starting from the pit lane. Suspension change for Valtteri Bottas and new engine components for Sergio. Zhou Guanyu starts 17th, Logan Sargent starts 18th. His teammate started there last year and finished in the top 10. The homeboy Oscar Piastri 16th, Nick De Vries, first time in Q2 for this season, starts 15th. Kevin Magnussen 14th for Haas alongside Lando Norris, who was 4th on the grid this time last year. Yuki Tsunoda starts 12th, Esteban Ocon missed Q3 by 7 1/1000ths of a second. Nico Hülkenberg starts 10th for the third race in a row this year. Pierre Gasly in Q3 for the first time is 9th. Alex Albon, super performance from him to start 8th. Charles Leclerc, Q3 laps compromised, couldn't do the preparation laps, is 7th. Lance Stroll 6th, and Carlos Sainz out-qualifies Leclerc for the first time this season. Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton starting together on the second row, and ahead of them George Russell and Max Verstappen on pole for the 22nd time in his Formula One career. Green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well, so does George Russell. Lewis Hamilton under pressure from Fernando Alonso. Russell has got the inside line going into the first corner. Russell just noses ahead from Max Verstappen. Russell takes the lead. Fernando Alonso trying to go around the outside in turn 2 of Lewis Hamilton. What a start from George Russell. Max Verstappen trying to come back and now defending as Carlos Sainz getting all the action. Down the inside goes Hamilton, and there is Charles Leclerc, last year's race winner, going off at turn 3.
Oh, what a start. That was excitement, wasn't it? Now Max Verstappen's down to third. Mercedes 1 and 2.
We're going green once more, and we can get some racing back underway. George Russell leads them down that main straight. Lewis Hamilton has Max Verstappen behind him. Carlos Sainz has his fellow Spaniard Fernando Alonso behind him. Alex Albon under pressure a little bit from Lance Stroll. Then comes Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg and Yuki Tsunoda as we make the run now towards turn 3, and that's a very fine restart from George Russell, putting a bit of distance between himself and his teammate. How long can Hamilton hold the faster Red Bull at bay? We'll find out.
Asking me to manage, and I'm being attacked by my own teammate. You tell me what to do. If I want to push to defend, I'll push now.
Oh dear, George Russell feeling a little bit, what's the word, vulnerable?
A little bit, understandably. But it's a tricky part of the race because they're used to just looking after the tyres at this moment of the race, but it seems that DRS is having such a big effect that you can't relax. He has to push.
It's with the slipstream, it's 12 mile an hour extra pace, and that is Alex Albon off. And Alex Albon out, and as you can see, he's lost his front wing too. And that's a Williams stranded on the curbs, and no surprises that the safety car has been deployed for the second time in this race. And Alex Albon, who was having a brilliant race after spending 1 lap in the top 6 in the whole of last year, running in the top 6 here, sadly out of the race with an off. That has not put Lewis Hamilton at a disadvantage at all, because the red flag has now come out, and the course of the early part of this race and the destiny has changed at 180 degrees here. We're down under, and George Russell's race has gone from the top to somewhere near the bottom again. For part 2 of the Australian Grand Prix in 2023, lights out and away we go. Hamilton gets a better start than Verstappen. Alonso's got a decent start too, and he's already trying to go wheel to wheel and now taking the base of action as Verstappen jinks over to the left. Hamilton leads them through for Verstappen and Alonso, and there comes Pierre Gasly. That looks like George Russell ahead of Lance Stroll. Some very different starts there. Lewis Hamilton gets to turn 3 out in front from Verstappen, from Alonso, and then from Gasly. At this stage and heading towards turn 9 and 10. Verstappen trying to go round the outside of Lewis Hamilton to take the lead of this race, and does so before they get to turn 9. Such was the pace of the Red Bull with the DRS. We have a new race leader. He's the man who started on pole originally in this race. It's Max Verstappen, almost pushing him along, going through turns 9 and 10. Now he's got DRS once more, as has Stroll behind him. Gasly's under pressure from 1 and 2 cars here as George Russell makes the move, and Lance Stroll just has to sit behind him. Russell up to 4th, Gasly in 5th, Stroll currently 6th. Inside once more goes Carlos Sainz. It was Lando Norris, this time it's Lance Stroll. Carlos Sainz, who was out on lap 2 in last year's race, is making up. He has the Haas of Kevin Magnussen Magnussen to his right-hand side, and there's another place for Checo, who started last here in 2012, finished 8th in that race. Out in front, Max Verstappen has just increased his lead. 3.3 seconds out in front, and what's this? That is a car on fire, and it's George Russell.
You. Bye-bye.
That's power unit issue for George Russell, who needs to stop that car, pull over into a safe place, and let the marshals get the fire extinguishers on. There's Oscar Piastri in his wing mirrors now. Perez using that DRS to his advantage. Look, there goes Sergio Perez again.
Was that a car he just overtook?
It was Yuki Tsunoda. Perez up into 9th now. Lando Norris next on the road. Chandok is at Sky Race Control as we head into turn 1, and Gasly still keeps Carlos Sainz at bay.
Yeah, Fernando Alonso's been on the radio saying to his team, look, it's a long way to go. One Ferrari out, one Mercedes out. We're in top
Carlos
three.
Sainz this time making a move into turn 3, and he has got Pierre Gasly. And he's been a bit thwarted and a bit frustrated behind the gearbox of the Alpine. But now the prancing horse has loosened its reins and it can stride forward. That was a decent move, Jensen.
Aggressive, here we go. Oh, he dummied him. Oh, what a beautiful move. That's just puts a big smile on your face seeing a move like that in F1. That's aggressive. That's taking a big risk. But they're going quicker every lap. You know, they're still punching in purple sectors. A lot of them are doing personal bests as well. What I love seeing is we have 5 different teams in the top 5 positions. Yeah. Great, isn't it?
It's and you have 6. You actually have 7 out of the top 8.
Yeah.
Carry that on a little bit. They spend all this money to develop very, very different cars, and then we have that variety. Brilliant.
So Alonso 22.4, I think he just keeps trying to push you to use your tyres. Let's not fall for it.
Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense if you're a race engineer, but from the driver's perspective,
When you've never driven a racing car before, it's easy, yeah. But he's keeping Lewis calm. He's doing the right thing, yeah. I think Lewis understands Fernando well. You know, they've been teammates. They've been racing against each other for years.
dived down the inside and got himself ahead then of the AlphaTauri. Good
Yeah.
work. Into the pits comes Logan Sargent for another tyre change, and interestingly going back out on the hard compound tyre. Sainz obviously hasn't got that DRS. He needs to start extending his pace and stretching his pace to get within that second of Fernando Alonso, who's stretching his pace to try and get within that second of Lewis Hamilton, who is keeping Alonso at bay. As down the main straight comes Sergio Perez with that DRS advantage, but there's not enough straight for him to get past on this occasion.
Yeah, to keep checking behind, Lando needs to give it a big push if he can with the tyres and get up behind Nico Hülkenberg and use his DRS. But
Perez is now responding, and he's going to go down the inside. Yes, he is. Turn 8, Sergio Perez down the inside on Lando Norris, and he used the DRS to his advantage. The Hulk is next.
yeah, you could see that coming a mile off, couldn't you? Fernando has the fastest lap of the race at the moment on his last lap. He was 1.1 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Lewis has just pulled another 10th out in this lap, so he'll go out to 1.2, 1.3, I think.
And I promise you, he is still racing, and that is Max Verstappen, and he is still leading. Over 11 seconds the gap now. And, well, is that Max Verstappen just weaving a bit to try and get some temperature into those tyres?
So he's chosen the right, and then, there was a little wiggle on the wheel, wasn't there?
We're on it.
He did. Lucky not to run into the back of him there. We've seen that too many times, but yeah, let the fight commence.
We'll let the fight continue, and it will. Once, twice, now for a third time. Here goes Lando Norris on Nico Hülkenberg. Once again, he's trying out of turn 11. This time he's got a lot closer. This time he's going wheel to wheel. This time he's got ahead. Lando Norris goes past Hülkenberg, who slides off onto the gravel for good measure. And at the third time of asking, he was so lucky to take 8th place.
Beautiful move. He did nothing wrong there. Obviously, Hülkenberg trying to keep the outside line, but couldn't. Onto the marbles, onto the gravel, but a great move by Lando.
Oh, I think the crowd would have loved that one. He just needed that better traction out of turn 11. You know, with the time of Verstappen and Hamilton, 1-2 in either order, and it is the end of the day for that man there, Kevin Magnussen, who's lost the right rear tyre.
That's impact.
Impact with what, I wonder? And as he pulls off and finds somewhere safe to pull off, does the safety car come out? The yellow flag. 36 career race wins for Max Verstappen. The championship leader was looking an absolute shoey in to be third. For the third time this afternoon, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Hamilton gets away well. Verstappen comes over to try and cut him off and does so. Verstappen leads. Fernando Alonso tries to go round the outside. Hamilton's in second place and there's contact. Carlos Sainz spins Fernando Alonso around. The two Spanish drivers making contact, and there is Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly out of this race too. It's chaos as the straight on goes Lance Stroll into turn 3. Aston Martin have seen their hopes of a double podium or a race win absolutely evaporated. We've got another red flag. That should be the race over now. But Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly took each other out. Oh dear, Aston Martin and Alpine having a nightmare of a resumption here. Verstappen stayed ahead of Hamilton and Sainz in third. Nico Hülkenberg up to fourth. Yuki Tsunoda fifth. Norris, Piastri, Joe, Bottas and Perez will all be scoring points if we don't get a restart here. But that was absolute chaos at the start.
We've lost 6 cars, I think, from the start of that race. Absolute chaos from the start of the restart. But
cars will be going across the line and doing another lap before they get back into the pits again.
yeah, luckily no one's actually going on the track, but they are climbing the fence here.
Yeah,
Obviously not supposed to happen.
So we've stopped the team celebrating on the fence, and now we've got fans on the fence. Either way, Max Verstappen makes his way around then the final corner, and they rise for Max Verstappen, and they rise for Lewis Hamilton, and they rise for Fernando Alonso. 3 world champions occupying the top 3. Verstappen wins the Australian Grand Prix. Hamilton gets second. Alonso third, Sainz fourth, then comes Stroll and Perez and Piastri, and as they all go over the line, Carlos Sainz has finished 12th according to our timing screen. Yuki Tsunoda gets into the points and finishes 10th. Valtteri Bottas is just outside it. Carlos Sainz with that penalty for the crash with Fernando Alonso, to his great fears, sadly, has finished outside of the points, and that is a pointless weekend for Ferrari. That is a big disappointment. Charles Leclerc losing it at the first corner, Carlos Sainz losing his finish at the checkered flag.